Welcome to the most listened to golf in the world, the Fairways of Life show, on air, online, and around the world, with the most candid interviews, unforgettable stories, taking you beyond the ropes. Here's your host, New York Times best-selling author, Matt Adams.
What's going on, folks? Welcome into the Fairways of Life show. Hope you guys are doing well on this Wednesday. I feel like I was just here a couple hours ago. It wasn't that many hours ago. The NCAA is going on, the Women's Division I Golf Championships. Adela Sunosik won the individual title. And so we went through the semis, the quarters, and now we are down to two teams, UCLA versus Stanford for the NCAA Division I Women's Golf Championship title in earnest. And that coverage will kick off after golf today at 6 p.m. Eastern time tonight. Very much looking forward to that. So, Dom, before we jump into things, because I haven't had the time, frankly, to get to you about your question of the day many times until the end of the day. And somebody wrote to me and said, hey, dude, give us some time to answer it. Do you actually have one already brewing today that you're cooking up?
No, we've been on the air for 20 seconds.
Yeah, but I thought you did that before we went on the air.
No, I'm very busy here. We just went live. You got to give me like 1 minute. Although we were just talking about dogs off the air. I wonder if the question of the day should just be, do you have a dog? And if you don't have a dog, why don't you have a dog?
That's not the question of the day. No, and who was talking about dogs before we went on the air? So
me and our upcoming guest.
Oh, our upcoming guest. All right, our upcoming guest, Ryan Lavner, is going to join us today. He is a senior writer for Golf Channel. He has been with Golf Channel since 2012. It's been a couple of years with Golf Week magazine prior to that. Ooh, I like this, Tom. We have accompanied photos of Ryan. That's obviously on the set someplace. I can't tell where it is from my little return screen. But Ryan has been pretty much to all the big events for some years now. There's the Golf Today set. That's up here at NBC Sports. That's across the room from where I'm sitting right now. What else you got? Show me another Ryan Lavner photo. Anytime you're ready. That's it. Hey, all right. Obviously, that photo was taken from his home in Orlando. Gentleman farmer. Oh, look at this one. Let's pick it up on this one. Ryan Lavner's joining us right now. It looks like he's cooking a dinosaur in his backyard. What the heck is that, Ryan?
That is a turkey, Matt, for Thanksgiving. I do it every year. My in-laws have a great place up at Reynolds Lake Oconee, and so I'm tasked every year with smoking a turkey. So barbecue is one of my passions. If ever I get out of golf journalism, I can find myself doing something related to barbecue, just not quite sure
Now,
what.
that to do a turkey, whoa. I want to talk about this picture too, but go back to the turkey picture for a second, Andrew. You're grilling the turkey here. In order to grill it, it looks to me like you pre-carve the meat and then put it on.
So this is on one of this is going to sound sick, 9 smokers or grills that I have. And what I've done with the turkey there, Matt, is spatchcock the turkey.
I beg your
So
pardon?
you remove the spine bone in which you can lay it flat. And that is how you cook it more evenly. It cooks quicker. Anyone who is grilling, smoking, or even cooking a turkey in the oven, I would highly recommend you spatchcock it. It gets a much more even cook on it, and you're able to render the skin a little bit better and get that crispy bite through skin that everyone's looking for.
Dare I ask what the name spatchcock means or where it came from?
I do not know the origin. I just know how to do it, and I think it's a very effective method.
All right. Well, obviously, you know what you're talking about with 9 smokers and grills. So when you have multiple smokers and grills, are you like, you meet somebody that's, a brilliant guitarist, really brilliant guitarist. Maybe they got paid a little bit, played in some bands and things like that. And each one of these grills that you have, just like they're different guitars, different sound, different texture, different depth. I mean, in other words, why would you need so many?
Exactly. I mean, my wife clearly thinks that I have a sickness here, but I can justify each and every one I have. I have griddles, I have pellet grills, I have steak cookers, I have other charcoal grills, I have drum smokers, I have an offset smoker, I have a tailgate grill. I mean,
Ooh.
you can go down the line with what you have, and I love each of them equally. They're like children to me. If I do end up parting with one, it's always to kind of go bold.
What do
Buy
you mean
once, cry
partner?
once.
Is there like a whole marketplace where you guys that are massive into it are like trading equipment back and forth?
Can be, yes. There's definitely like barbecue forums that I frequent.
Barbecue
If I'm
forum.
not watching Fairways of Life on YouTube, Matt,
Right.
I am watching barbecue videos and honing my techniques and seeing what the latest and greatest products
You
are.
know, in all seriousness, it does raise the question of when you look at TV programs, for example, there's whole food networks that exist, travel shows that exist, stuff that pretty much everybody does. Not everybody, shocking, but not everybody's involved in the game of golf or in any other sport for that matter, but everybody eats. So when you made an earlier comment, said, hey, if I ever get out of golf journalism, maybe I'll find a path into, this grilling and barbecuing and smoking and all that stuff I actually think there might be something there. I think that's a pretty cool idea.
So we have the podcast, obviously, with Rex Hogger, the Golf Channel podcast with Rex Hogger, with Rex and Lav, and we are both barbecue grilling aficionados, and so we've been shilling the podcast, trying to get some sponsorships. I have this grand vision, if we could ever make it happen, of basically creating like a college game day type atmosphere around golf's biggest events, where there's sort of a live audience. We're grilling out, we're talking. It's a 1 hour, 2 hour pregame type show. That's what the grand vision is. Pair that with an alcohol sponsor, a barbecue sponsor, and then get the energy and the atmosphere of a live audience at one of golf's biggest events. I don't know. Personally, I think there's a future for it, but so far, no takers.
I don't think you got to just push that a little bit harder. I think it's an absolutely brilliant idea. And coming from a master spatchcocker such as yourself, I can see where that has the potential to catch on. So you've been at this. I was surprised when I looked into your bio this morning that you've been with Golf Channel for 12 years, right? 14 years, if I'm to do the math.
12 years, dozen years. Yeah.
Is it 12 years? It's 2012,
2012
right?
to current. Yep.
All right, 12 years. You're better at math than I am. 12 years. A couple years before that at Golf Week. Seemed like a long time. It was longer than I thought. And you think about the varied experiences that you've had as a golf writer. Obviously, you're doing a lot of TV. You talked about the podcast you're doing with Rex, etc. Nowadays, it gets complicated, right? From the earliest days on for you, how have you balanced something like you're talking to somebody important, you're talking to somebody that's got real information, and they tell you something that is confidential, and maybe they even mumble the thing like off the record, etc. How important is it as a writer, as a journalist, to protect those types of relationships that when you've been given information that is contrary to perhaps even the popular and current dialogue, but you're going to protect this confidence because the person asked you to?
I mean, I think it's vital, and any journalist, any golf writer in particular has known that ever since we got into the business. The relationships that we form, the sources that we cultivate over time. I mean, without that relationship, without that trust, you really don't have anything. And so breaking that trust, that bond, can really have a trickle-down effect. That's not to say that you're protecting sources at all costs. Obviously, there's information that needs to go out to the public. We are essentially a liaison between the athletes and the public, and facilitating that sort of spread of information. But it's obviously a very tricky time in media right now, balancing, do we hold this to kind of flesh this out further? Do we get it out now? Are you putting it on social media? Are you going on TV with the information? It's very tricky. I don't think there's any one right way to do it. But with the proper journalistic training like I had at the University of Georgia, you learn very early on that the trust and your bond and your word are the foundations of any good journalistic practice.
Is, as you call it, your proper journalistic training, is that ever at odds with the fact that we live in a world today where almost anybody that has a phone has the ability to be their own journalist of sorts. And now through social media platforms, et cetera, you have individuals and organizations that have been created because they do it in a rogue way. They may not adhere to, again, your terminology, proper journalistic principles. How much of a conflict is that out there today? Are we better for that, or does it make your job more complicated?
Certainly more complicated. You know, how the internet works, how social media works, how television works. There's always a rush to be first. And I think we've always done a good job at Golf Channel, maybe even to some criticism, that we're probably a little bit maybe too thorough. We take a little bit too long to get it up. I would much rather err on the side of being accurate than being first. That has never been a priority here at Golf Channel, to just get it out and then sort out the facts later. That's not how the journalistic world should operate. Now on social media, sure, someone can fire something out there unsourced, uncorroborated, unverified, and then it sort of takes off in that way. At Golf Channel, we have a very strict process that we're supposed to adhere. When we do have breaking news, when we do have source material, it goes up and down the food chain to make sure that everyone is on the same page with exactly what we are reporting. That's just not for me. That's for Rex. That's for Todd Lewis. That's for Kira K. Dixon. Anyone who is in charge of content creation or reporting to the larger world. That's how it works. We just don't go rogue and put it on social media, put it on the internet, or put it on TV.
Awesome stuff. I got a lot I want to talk to you about today, Ryan, when we come back from this break, because I want to get into storylines that we thought heading into the PGA Championship versus storylines that now exist on the other side of it. What are they? How does it set the table for the U.S. Open at Pinehurst #2? How does it set the table, do you think, even extending a little further out to the Open at Royal Troon, if you please, FedEx Cup playoffs, et cetera? Where we're at with the world of golf, couple resignations from the board on the PGA Tour sign. Is this a sign of anything? What does it mean? We don't really know. A lot of that stuff is, we're hearing that it's a process they're continuing on, discussions are continuing, but after that, you're kind of reading clouds. So I want to read some of those clouds with you when we come back. The Fairways of Life show is presented by the PGA Tour Superstore, the #1 golf retailer from coast to coast. Why? Yes, because of their big, beautiful stores, 70 some odd from coast to coast. But I think the most valuable asset they have are their people, because when you shop at a PGA Tour Superstore, you are shopping with the pros.
Every January, PGA Tour Superstore pros meet every manufacturer, learn about the latest equipment, log thousands of hours of training, and together hit over 100,000 balls. All so they can get you the perfect fit.
In Ireland, golf is more than just a game. Come and experience our world-famous links courses and our world-famous Parkland courses, all set alongside world-famous scenery. And visit our world-famous historic sites. And while you're here, enjoy our world-famous hospitality. Fill your heart with Ireland at ireland.com/golf.
Ben Hogan Golf Equipment is back. Established in 1953, we serve golfers who demand excellence of their equipment. Designed by the game's best engineers, forged in the world's best foundries, and built to order in the USA. Don't settle for off-the-rack disappointment. Elevate your game with custom clubs at direct consumer pricing. Exclusively at benhogangolf.com. That's benhogangolf.com.
The Gen 6 iron is a culmination of everything that we have learned as a team, the absolute best golf club I've ever hit. It's something special. Say hello to the new PXG Gen 6 iron. The longest, most accurate irons we've ever made. They go higher and farther than any iron that I have hit to date, and they're so easy to hit. Super excited for the consumer to try this. They're gonna love them.
PXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
Baseball? Nah. Football? Done it. I think I'm going to go after PGA Tour.
Playing on the PGA Tour is not easy. But you know what is easy? Hitting the 524 series from Tour Edge.
Hitting linebackers and home runs used to be easy.
Out here, you're going to need all the easy you can get.
Introducing the 524 series from Tour Edge, the easiest clubs you'll ever hit. Even the best players in the world can use a little easy.
I like the sound of that. Look out, PGA Tour. Pound for pound, nothing comes close.
Boyne Golf provides the ultimate world-class golf destination with 10 championship-caliber courses spanning 3 resorts. Centered in Michigan's northern Lower Peninsula, the courses are the products of some of the game's masters, including Robert Trent Jones Sr., Arthur Hills, and Donald Ross. From the all-inclusive vacation packages, elite instruction with the Boyne Golf Academy, tournaments, and so much more, Boyne Golf truly offers an unrivaled Michigan golf vacation experience. Just log on to BoyneGolf.com. Look at that. Ryan Lavner is our guest. You've got the gloves on. I was going to say, is this in New Orleans or something, or is this in your backyard?
That is in my backyard, and you can see my golden retriever Stella there in the bottom left corner. And the reason why we were talking about dogs before the show, Matt, is that my dog ate, I think it was either a potato or a crawfish, which obviously been simmering in pretty intense spices for, at that point, about 30 minutes, and she had one, and you would have thought that her head was going to explode. And she has eaten everything under the sun. She's eaten not necessarily ribs, with the full meat on it, but the rib bones. She's eaten chicken wings, everything. And she has a steel stomach. But that one always kind of makes us chuckle, because if you've never had sort of the crawfish spices, it is intense heat. I used to cover the Desert Classic of New Orleans just to go to all the restaurants and the bars on an expense account. But I've learned, what I like and how I like it. And that's been one of my processes, is developing sort of an affection and a process for crawfish boils as well. So that was a lot of fun. We did that last year, and hoping to do that again soon.
We've got calls coming in right now, Ryan. The HR department wants to talk to you about spatchcock on the air, and the county wants to audit you on the expense account. All right, so PGA Championship. It started out tragic with the death of John Mills. It then became bizarre with the arrest of Scottie Scheffler. So I'm not even going to try. I'm going to stay away from any risk of leading with this question at all. So at least through Friday of the PGA Championship, like your dog, was your head spinning?
Absolutely. I mean, Friday was among the most bizarre, surreal, confusing, chaotic days that I've ever spent in golf journalism. I think back to some of the most harried experiences I've had. I think back to 2021, the day where Tiger crashed in Los Angeles. I was covering the then WGC event at Concession, and that was a pretty scary day, seeing sort of the fear stricken on players' faces. They were realizing that their boyhood hero, in a lot of cases, was dealing with a very serious injury. I think back to the 2012 Ryder Cup and that storyline with Roy McIlroy rushing to get to the golf course in time for his opening match. Obviously, that sort of set in motion the historic comeback at Medina that day. Other than that, I mean, this was the strangest, most surreal day that I've experienced in a very long time. And to cap it all off, with Scottie Scheffler then shooting 66, just a few hours removed from being in a holding cell, I think was a testament to his focus, his concentration, his patience, his ability to stay in the moment. I saw that all on display with the way Scottie Scheffler played on Friday. We obviously know what happened on Saturday and him losing the chance to continue the season-long slam. But that Friday, especially the press conference afterward, I was very impressed with everything I saw and heard from Scottie Scheffler.
I realize this next question is a bit of a celebration of the obvious, but it has to be asked at the end of any event. But did the best player win?
The best player, yes. Last week at Valhalla, the best player won. You look statistically, he was the best player. I do think it will go down, Matt, as one of the great what-ifs. If Scottie Scheffler comes to Pinehurst, and there's no reason to think that he will not continue to play well, particularly on a golf course that should really suit his skill set. If he goes out and wins that golf tournament, then yeah, I think you're going to be wondering, boy, what if he hadn't been going to the gym 4 hours early to get in a workout? What if he had listened to the police officer? What if that didn't happen? What if, he just goes out and shoots his regular 66 like there was little reason to think that he would not? That's not to take anything away from Xander Schauffele, but I do think there is a what if that resides in the minds of many golf fans and observers right now. When it comes to Xander Schauffele, I think it was a very satisfying ending, wasn't it? The way that he was pushed by Viktor Hovland, by Bryson DeChambeau, the satisfying way in which Xander Schauffele has been kind of criticized for hitting some clunkers around the green over his career that maybe have cost him tournaments, but for him to do the baseball swing, to get it up close, and then chip to 6 feet and rim in that putt. I thought it was a very satisfying ending for a player who is world class, who has knocked on the door so many times, 12 top 10s in major championships, and then for him to finally knock one off. I thought it was a great ending.
And wildly entertaining at that. That was the part that I wanted to weave in there too, because we know the ratings are up because there's been a lot of talk about that with golf, et cetera. And when it comes to Xander, the street book on Xander was that he tends to fade in the moment, right? I'm not saying anything that everybody hasn't already well chronicled. And in this case, we saw a different Xander. After 10, he comes back and he makes those 2 birdies. As you noted, at 18, he had that awkward stance. He didn't hit a 7-iron and lay it up. He went right after it from 247 yards away, put himself in a perfect position, hits a nice little pitch there, gets up and down with a birdie at the last to win. That was about courage. That was about doing what you had to do it at the time that you had to do it to win. And it was incredible. But even when we look at just, say, names in the top 10 from the PGA Championship relative to the U.S. Open, right? You got Xander. You got Bryson, who finishes up, and Bryson goes, I learned a lot. There were mistakes that I made that I'm going to learn from when we go around next time. And I want to pause there for a second. Bryson. I almost feel like he's a different Bryson than he was when he was PGA Tour. Is that maturity? Is part of maturity about better understanding yourself and realizing that just because you were on the PGA Tour didn't make you the most popular kid in high school, that you still had to kind of go out and earn it? And he's becoming, I don't know, comfortable with who he is instead of trying to play a role?
Yeah, I think there's so many layers to peel back when it comes to Bryson. I think obviously the decision to go to live was nuanced in some ways. Like, he was clearly at the end of his rope on the PGA Tour. He was being heckled by fans. He was widely disliked by his peers. Obviously, he wanted to cash in on his popularity. I've never thought that Bryson would be a player who plays, deep into his 30s or into his 40s. He has so many other interests, and live has allowed him the time to, whether it's grow his YouTube channel or, seek other avenues for fun and entertainment beyond just competing inside the ropes. I do believe that he misses the limelight, that he misses the stage, and I think for the mainstream golf audience, I'm not talking about those who watch live golf tournaments, I'm talking about the mainstream golf audience. I do think this is the perfect amount of Bryson DeChambeau. Seeing him 4 times a year, everyone is thrilled to see him, is eager to see him in action inside the ropes, and he can compete that way without the possibility that he then gets overexposed or he begins to grate on some of the fans or the peers with what can be at times an abrasive personality. So I think it's a great situation for everyone. I think it's great for Bryson to get himself back in the mix, and I think it's great for golf fans to get this smattering, this sprinkling of Bryson DeChambeau throughout the year, who for all the theatrics, for all the histrionics, has always been an amazingly talented golfer. It's so easy to forget that, with the bulking up, with the slimming down, with the, putting the golf balls in Epsom salt and the scientist routine, like, he's been amazing at every level, in every facet that he has ever been a golfer. Yes, he can absolutely hit it to the moon, but he's an incredible ball striker who is a very underrated putter. And as we saw at Valhalla, like, his short game was spot on as well. So I'm very curious to see what Bryson can do for the remaining major championships in 2024. But I think most golf fans and most golf observers are just happy to have Bryson back in our lives on these big stages. It's now been 3 of the last 5 major championships in which he's been a significant factor.
Yeah, I think part of it too, on a human level, is that he's still a young man. And we literally watch these individuals grow up right before our eyes. And I think there was a time that he was trying to find his path and trying to find his place and trying to figure out who he was on this stage. As I mentioned, instead of playing a role, actually being who he is. And he's getting closer and closer to that. I think another player that, depending on how you want to define it, is getting closer and closer to fulfilling potential in the couple minutes that we have left here, Ryan, is Viktor Hovland. I know Viktor's gone through some changes, different coaches, back to, et cetera, but it just seems like he's a player that's sitting next on the threshold of the next guy to break through and win at a major level. For me, I kind of feel like Royal Troon is perfect for Viktor Hovland, but I'm curious what your thoughts are on his status.
Yeah, I mean, you never would have thought a month ago that Viktor Hovland would be a serious contender at the PGA Championship. I did a feature story on him, both for TV and the written version, sort of like diving into his curiosity. And that has always sort of propelled him to these heights. And it's so easy for him to take the shrapnel of making all these changes. But I've always viewed Viktor in a different way. Whereas you have a lot of these sort of lifelong relationships between player and coach, whether it's Scotty Scheffler and his longtime coach, Randy Smith, Jordan Spieth, and his longtime coach, Cameron McCormick, obviously Justin Thomas and his dad, Mike. Like, you've seen these relationships forged over, if not years, decades. Viktor Hovland has never been that way. He's always viewed sort of swing coaches as transactional, where they're giving him their information, and then he takes it upon himself to integrate it into his game and process it in his own way. And so he's always going to bounce from coach to coach, just because that's how he seeks out his information. And I always thought it was unwise to criticize him for that, because you have to give him the benefit of the doubt at this point. He's been doing this his entire career. He was a standout college player. He was a U.S. amateur champion. He won right away on the PGA Tour. He's now a prolific winner on the PGA Tour, a FedEx Cup champion, a Ryder Cup hero. Like, give the kid the benefit of the doubt.
I agree. Ryan, we got to run, my man. But I want to have you back on again. I want to talk about this stuff. I love your idea about the tailgate and all that goes into it. Thank you for your time, my friend. We'll catch up again, okay?
Sounds good.
Thank you so much. Ryan Lavner, absolute classic. And I will have him back again because we got a lot more to go through. When we come back, how about what's your dream job? Maybe we tapped into some discussion about it today. I think we found it after this.
Every January, PGA Tour Superstore pros meet every manufacturer, learn about the latest equipment, log thousands of hours of training, and together hit over 100,000 balls. All so they can get you the perfect fit.
In Ireland, golf is more than just a game. Come and experience our world-famous links courses and our world-famous parkland courses, all set alongside world-famous scenery. And visit our world-famous historic sites. And while you're here, enjoy our world-famous hospitality. Fill your heart with Ireland at ireland.com/golf.
Ben Hogan Golf Equipment is back. Established in 1953, we serve golfers who demand excellence of their equipment. Designed by the game's best engineers, forged in the world's best foundries, and built to order in the USA. Don't settle for off-the-rack disappointment. Elevate your game with custom clubs at direct consumer pricing. Exclusively at benhogangolf.com. That's benhogangolf.com.
The Gen 6 iron is a culmination of everything that we have learned as a team, the absolute best golf club I've ever hit. It's something special. Say hello to the new PXG Gen 6 iron. The longest, most accurate irons we've ever made. They go higher and farther than any iron that I have hit to date, and they're so easy to hit. Super excited for the consumer to try this. They're gonna love them.
PXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
Baseball? Nah. Football? Done it. I think I'm gonna go after the PGA Tour.
Playing on the PGA Tour is not easy. But you know what is easy? Hitting the 524 series from Tour Edge.
Hitting linebackers and home runs used to be easy.
Out here, you're gonna need all the easy you can get.
Introducing the 524 series from Tour Edge. The easiest clubs you'll ever hit. Even the best players in the world can use a little easy.
I like the sound of that. Look out, PGA Tour. Pound for pound, nothing comes close.
Boyne Golf provides the ultimate world-class golf destination with 10 championship-caliber courses spanning 3 resorts. Centered in Michigan's northern Lower Peninsula, the courses are the products of some of the game's masters, including Robert Trent Jones Sr., Arthur Hills, and Donald Ross. From the all-inclusive vacation packages, elite instruction with the Boyne Golf Academy, tournaments, and so much more, Boyne Golf truly offers an unrivaled Michigan golf vacation experience. Just log on to BoyneGolf.com.
Stride by Zero Friction, the first of its kind personal caddy. Walk in comfort and style with Stride's remote and follow me technology. The Stride handles almost any terrain, and its 54-hole range will last all day. The lightweight design and removable front wheels makes it simple to handle. Plus, it easily fits golf carts. Order yours and save. Visit zerofriction.com/stride or scan the QR code to order yours today. Stride, your personal caddy.
A couple days ago, before I left town, caught up with a friend that arguably has the job that I think everybody would love to. Here we go.
If I were to ask you, what would be your dream golf job? Right? Anything. What would be your dream golf job? My friend who's about to join us may just have exactly what we're talking about. The dream golf job. Because what you're watching right now is not merely video. Obviously, this is from a drone. This is not merely video just to show you an incredibly beautiful golf course, which it really is. Those flowers are mind-blowing. I'm talking to you about the person that actually made this video and the photography that becomes more than something that's just for posterity. This becomes true artwork. Evan Schiller, EvanSchillerPhotography.com. You can see that Andrew just put up there if you want to check out all of it yourself. We're going to be talking about all of it right now with Evan. And so, Evan, I've asked you this question before. First of all, thanks for joining us. It is a delight to see you, my friend.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You went from being a golf professional to being a professional golf course photographer, and it's more than just photographer, it's video as well. Right. How? Why did you make that transition?
Wow. That's a great question. I grew up playing golf. My father played golf. He's the one who introduced me. I was playing tournament golf, and every trip I'd go on, I was going to these amazing places. And so at one point, I decided to start taking a camera with me. I think some people have probably heard this story before, but I played in the California Open at the Mission Hills course, the Dinosaur course at Mission Hills. And after the tournament was over, somebody said we should go over and play PGA West, which had just opened up the stadium course there. And so we walked down the ninth hole and looked down, and there was this beautiful scene in front of me with the beautiful peat dive with the railroad ties and the lake and the mountain, the beautiful reflection in the lake. And I said, boy, I need to start taking a camera. So just for kicks, I would take a camera and start taking photos of the courses I was playing. It was all for fun. And then, fast forward a few years, I started working as an assistant professional at Westchester Country Club. And my friend Tom Petrie said, hey, let's put some photos in the shop and start selling them. And to my surprise, they sold. And that's kind of how it got off, that's how it got, off the ground and running. And, some 25, years plus later, here we are. So I don't know if it was a decision, but it was a gradual transition from, playing golf, tournament golf, to working in, the golf business, to, taking photos of golf courses, which I just fell in love with.
And you kind of talked about this already, that it was kind of a gradual move, but was it word of mouth, Evan? I mean, did you did you advertise? How did people know that you were out there to do this? And when did you realize, was it when you were with Tom and you were selling the pictures, but when did you realize that you were really, really good at it?
Yeah, it was this gradual. It was hard to say there was one moment where I actually knew, hey, because, I always had this image of, struggling photographer, right? And so my friends would make fun of me like, yeah, you're gonna, what, photograph golf courses? And I think when I started getting asked to shoot, like courses, some courses around the area. I mean, I grew up in Westchester, New York, and when some courses started asking me to come over and take photos, and then they were selling them in the shop, I think that's when it dawned on me that, wow, hey, I could do this. And then, you start getting paid for doing something you love, and all of a sudden your whole perspective, your whole point of view about the thing, wait, this is like, I could do this for more than just kicks. And I think that's when it started to, kick in as, hey, wow, I could do this. I think I could do this for a living. And I think the creme de la creme was when a bunch of years back, I got asked to go photograph the Masters. Yeah, I got a call from my friend Mike Johnson, who was the equipment editor for Golf Digest, and said, hey, you're going to get a call from Bob LaMarche, who publishes the Masters Journal, and they want you to go shoot the Masters for them. And I think, well, whoa, okay. Now we're in the real world. So I think getting, asked to go shoot the Masters just cemented it like, hey, I could do this for a living.
Absolutely incredible. It truly is incredible. I got a million questions I want to ask you about it too, as we go down this road. You know what, Evan, hang in there with me. I'm gonna take a quick break because I don't want to rush this because it's too fascinating. I mean, I opened up the whole segment with what would be your dream golf job. And the person that we're talking to, Evan Schiller, evanschillerphotography.com, he might just have that job. We'll continue the conversation regarding the same right after these words.
I got ball fit in 2000, went on a little run. Then Bridgestone fit me again, and I went on another run. I just got fit again for the new Tour BX. The ball fitting's been helping me. Will it help you?
Boyne Golf provides the ultimate world-class golf destination with 10 championship-caliber courses spanning 3 resorts. Centered in Michigan's northern Lower Peninsula, the courses are the products of some of the game's masters, including Robert Trent Jones Sr., Arthur Hills, and Donald Ross. From the all-inclusive vacation packages, elite instruction with the Boyne Golf Academy, tournaments, and so much more, Boyne Golf truly offers an unrivaled Michigan golf vacation experience. Just log on to BoyneGolf.com.
I think when you're training for other sports, or why most people go to the gym is so that they can have muscles and be strong and be healthy. And a lot of the reason why they struggle to play golf is their body doesn't move properly for them to be able to hit a golf ball. And when you're training for golf, it's a little bit different because you're focused more on flexibility and mobility and being strong in motion. When you're able to kind of have a warm up and have a workout routine and kind of gradually build up to where you're training your body to move properly, yeah, you're going to get a lot of big dividends on the golf course.
Every January, PGA Tour Superstore pros meet every manufacturer, learn about the latest equipment, log thousands of hours of training, and together hit over 100,000 balls. All so they can get you the perfect fit.
What if we started a company and the company was under no time constraints, no financial constraints? The one constraint is their clubs had to be exceptional performers and much better than any other alternative. I was told time and again it'll never work. It worked like a house of fire. And I'll tell you what, I think our customers love it. BXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
Stride by Zero Friction, the first of its kind personal caddy. Walk in comfort and style with Stride's remote and follow me technology. The Stride handles almost any terrain, and its 54-hole range will last all day. The lightweight design and removable front wheels makes it simple to handle. Plus, it easily fits golf carts. Pick up your Stride today at a local PGA Tour Superstore near you or at zerofriction.com/stride. Stride, your personal caddy.
As we welcome you back to the Fairways of Life show, Evan Schiller has photographed over 600 championship golf courses. His work has been published in countless magazines, books, calendars, etc. The Masters Journal, the U.S. Open magazine, the Ryder Cup Journal, Links magazine, Golf Digest, Golf Magazine, just to name a few. He is the official golf course photographer for the Fairways of Life show. We're proud to tell you as well. EvanSchillerPhotography.com is where you can go and see his incredible work. Obviously, what you're watching right now is that which he does not only with shutter and finger, but also with the drone work. Evan, when did you become, I don't know how to explain it. I don't even know how to phrase it. How did you become so damn good with a drone?
Practice. Yeah, no, it takes a while. You know, I crashed a few, you know, but I think anybody who's flown a drone has probably crashed one somewhere along the way. And in fact, you see this hole here? I crashed one on this hole right here. Well, it actually, I was flying it, and it all of a sudden it just went down. Like the propeller came off, and it just right behind the green there, it crashed.
Where is this, Evan? What are we looking at?
That's Punta Espada in the Dominican Republic.
Beautiful.
Yeah, just to the left of right where those palm trees are, right on the other side of those palm trees, it went down. Luckily,
was it this drone that we're watching right now that met its unearthly demise?
No, I don't think. No, it was another one. Yeah, the prop came off and it went right like into that right by that. This is the second hole. It's the third tee. Yeah, that was one time where I lost one. I think it's just I would just get out even when I wasn't on a golf course, and I would fly the thing. And you know, one of the pieces of advice I got was learn how to fly figure eights smoothly, really smoothly. So I'd go out and practice flying in figure eights and then filming it to see if I could actually make smooth turns with it. And there's adjustments on a drone which can help you, you know, turn smoother, you know, pan or tilt, like, you know, with the camera. See, what I'm doing here right now is backing up the drone, but also panning up to show the whole scene there. So it just takes time and practice, and there's some adjustments on a drone you can make it so it's a lot easier.
But it's also about your vision, Evan, and that's the thing that is so remarkable to me about you is that, you know, aperture and balance, the symmetry of what you're looking for, this idea that you're going to back the drone up at the same time as you're bringing up the tilt of the drone to open up the magnificent setting. I have a chill running up my spine looking at this picture right now. It's all of these elements that, yes, I understand the technical side that you have to have skills at, but you have this artist eye. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not even sure if I'm explaining myself well. It is so hard to take a picture and make it look like what you're looking at when you want to show it to somebody later on. You have the ability to capture that in a way I've never seen.
So I heard there was a very, this is going, and I'm in no way comparing myself to this guy. Tiger Woods was on Oprah Winfrey's show way back when he was first, early in his career. And she had him on. He had just come out with some book. And she asked him a very interesting question. You know, she had read the book and she goes, well, am I going to play golf like you after reading this book? And she goes, obviously not. So what makes you great? And he paused for a moment and he said, I think I see things that other people don't. And I think anybody who is really good at what I think that's a commonality amongst people who are really great at what they do. And they're able to see things that other people don't. Like when I get to a golf course, I drive around, I scout. It's one of the first things I do. I get there and I drive around. I drive all 18 holes and I just look for spots where I want to shoot, and I got ideas, and I get, I'll say, well, this could be an interesting spot or an interesting area. And you've kind of, you're in a way projecting what it might look like, tomorrow morning when the sun comes up, from this angle or that angle. So, there's history that helps, it's in many ways, an educated guess that, hey, this scene could look really great at sunrise, or it could look, at sunset from over here. So you get ideas ahead of time, so you're projecting, and then, when you get there, it could be different, or it could be better, or, not what you thought. So there's a lot of, there's a lot of experience that goes into it, but there's trial and error. There's, sometimes you get lucky. So, there's a lot of years of just, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Yes, no, but you learn from all of them, which helps you going forward.
Evan, your photos, when you shoot a sunrise, when you shoot a sunset, so you're out there as a golf course awakens, and you're out there as a golf course closes its tired eyes. Is it
Right.
for you in some way a spiritual experience?
Absolutely. Like this photo here was taken at PGA Frisco, or Fields Ranch. That's the 17th hole on the East Course. And, I was actually driving to another hole to go shoot another hole. You could see it was a little bit cloudy. And as I was driving by the 17th hole, the sun popped out. And I happened to see this, and it wasn't planned. I just was driving by and I saw it, and I hopped out of the cart quickly. I put my camera on a tripod and just shot a few frames, and then the sun went behind those clouds again. So I just happened to be driving by, and I saw this, and I went, "Wow!" But
Incredible.
yeah, it is just being out. This is another one. Just in a way, I happened to be in the right place at the right time, waiting, and then the sun came out at Bandon Dunes for probably a minute maybe on this scene. But as far as the spiritual, yes, there's something really special, like you say, spiritual about the early morning and the late afternoons. And sometimes I prefer the early morning because, the sun's coming up, and, lots of times I'm out there before the sun comes up, and anticipation of what it might look like. But it's not just that, it's just, it's the sounds, the smell, like you were along the ocean, the sounds and smells. I was just up at Bandon Dunes, and I would go out and, before the sun would come up, stand on the cliff and look at the ocean and the beach and just take it in and appreciate the whole scene. So yeah, it is a spiritual, it's very uplifting experience, regardless of whether you're taking photos or not, just being out there, and taking in the whole, experience of just being out there, and it's in a way, it's an assault on the senses in a good way.
Yeah.
In many ways, the sights, the sounds, the smells, the wind, the breeze, like this place is, that's in Anguilla, the only golf course on the island. Aurora National Golf Club, and it's just beautiful.
Evan, as a former professional and one who played competitively at very high levels, you would hit a shot. Let's say we've been showing multiple times. We've shown the absolutely incredibly beautiful video of the par 3 7th at Pebble,
right?
As an example, if you stood on that tee, say the wind was into you a little bit, so you needed a little more meat to get to the green. Not crazy like Tony Finau when he had to hit a driver there, this past season on the tour. But say it's an 8-iron or a 7-iron, which for you is probably going to be, we're talking anywhere from 170 to 190-ish, right? Playing effectively because of the wind coming in at you. And you hit it perfectly. You hit it hole high. You leave it about 3 feet away. You know that feeling. As Ben Hogan said, it comes through the ball to the club, through your hands and your arms, and right it straight into your soul. To execute that shot versus doing what we're looking at right now with the birds flying under it. I mean, this looks like when they say that, oh, so-and-so had a near-death experience and they relived, one of the highlights of their life. We're watching it right now. Now, at this point, Evan Schiller, looking back on your own life, what brings you greater joy? That perfectly struck iron, hole high for birdie into this par 3, or doing what we're looking at right now?
Wow, great question. I'll do my best because they're hard to compare. I've had experience like where taking some of this drone footage, like in particular, there's one I took of the 5th hole at Moonlight Basin, which you were showing before, and which I flew down the fairway. Yeah, this one, this is it. So one of the things I want to do is fly down the fairway, and as the dog legs to the right there, as I got up to the green, I wanted to kind of go out to the right. I don't know if you show the whole thing, but it goes out to the right. And then I circled around back behind the green, like here, like this. Then you go out, and then I circled around back behind the green because I wanted to show this scene. And I had talked with the head pro about doing something like this. And I did this on the first take. This is the one and only take I had to do. I got it on the first one. That's about as close to hitting that perfect 7-iron on the 7th hole where you just pure it and you catch it right in the middle of the face. This particular video right here, I would say, was comparable to that because I got done with it and my wife was with me and I said to her, I just nailed that.
It's fabulous, Evan. It's absolutely
just
fabulous.
Go and just fly the whole thing around because lots of times you don't always get it right. You got to go back and try it again, or it's like, I like to do a little higher, a little lower. So sometimes there's a shot or a video that you capture that's comparable to hitting a like that pure 7-iron. But that pure 7-iron that you catch right in the middle of the face, really flush. That's pretty hard to beat.
What's amazing about it with what you do, Evan, in that it is about artistry. Obviously, it's about capturing these God's gardens, right? But it's about more. When people go on to evanschiller.com, evanschillerphotography.com, and they're buying your prints, especially where you put them on metal and all the rest. I have 2 of them myself. It's more than just the beauty and the art, which it could suffice. It could stand alone. But it's about the emotions that you feel, because most people are buying these because they either aspire to be there one day and it's a dream, it's a bucket list, or they've actually been there and the emotions come flooding back in that same kind of spiritual way. It is truly incredible. You heard me ask the question as you were coming in. What would be your dream golf job? Are you living it, Evan Schiller? Is this your dream golf job, what you are doing every day?
Yes. Yeah. Growing up, when I was growing up playing golf, I think my dream golf job was to play golf professionally. And that was for a while. And then it shifted. I don't know how, I didn't know why, I never planned it. It just shifted to this. So, it was one thing starting off and then it shifted to another. I guess that's possible because it did happen. I feel very privileged and lucky to be able to do this. It started off as a hobby, started off as fun, and, turned into, I wouldn't even call it a job. It just, it's the work I do.
As they say, do what you love to do, and you'll never work a day in your life. And that which you create, your art, is there for all of us to enjoy. EvanSchillerPhotography.com. It's incredible, my friend. Thank you for checking in with us. Thank you for sharing your story, because whatever the shot is that people have in their life, in their heart, and their ambition, I know that people have dreams, and to be able to talk to you like this, I'm sure is motivating a lot of people to pursue theirs. So thank you for what you've done, as ever. Thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you. And thanks for having me on again. Always a treat. Love it.
It is.
Thank you, Matt. Yeah.